Hi, thanks for joining me here. I'm Paula Moore, the chiropractor, and I'm going to talk today about how to treat your own bunions naturally. This is something of particular interest to me because I've been doing my own natural treatment on my bunion, which you can see here on my right foot. I'm going to tell you a little bit about bunions, but not a whole lot. You can read more on my post at Paula Moore, the chiropractor, under bunion help. That's a little more the theory, but I want this to be more practical. I will tell you that a bunion, which by the way is Latin for turnip, which I thought was quite cool, is simply this, what you see here. A bunion occurs between the hallux, which is your big toe, and that one's Latin for enlargement. So the big toe forms a joint, there's the joint line, with a long bone in the foot known as the metatarsal. We've got 5 of those. But it's this joint that we're talking about with bunions. So what happens for a number of reasons, which I won't go into, you can read about that, is that we get this kind of leaning inwards of the big toe known as hallux valgus. I got stumped there for a minute. Hallux valgus, just think L for leaning. That's the medical term anyway. And it's that leaning that often causes this kind of swelling or protuberance here through the joint line. Now, a bunion itself isn't arthritis, but certainly over time that leaning can cause a lot of strain on this joint, and it can lead to arthritis. Now, I have some of that now. One of the ways you can tell is because the ability of this joint, particularly the big toe, to flex or to lift off and gait, so pushing off, becomes very limited. And let me show you with my own toe. So, in a normal foot, we should get 60 degrees of the toe lifting up into flexion. Now, if I show you using this, which is called a goniometer, this is just a cheap plastic model. Probably I can get it on eBay or something. 60 degrees is about 60 degrees all the way up here. So that's how much toe flexion we should actually have in normal gait. Take a look at how much I actually have. A lot less than that. Bring that down. I'll actually line that up. I'm getting closer to about 20 degrees. So I've already got something known as hallux limitus. In other words, my hallux joint is limited in how much movement it has. And again, lots of theories on why that is. A lot of people with high arched feet or flat feet develop bunions, often because it's thought that we overpronate, we roll in when we're walking, and that rolling in causes a leaning of this joint over time, and then it develops this kind of bunion, which can often be red and swollen and painful. And you also often notice people develop callus in the areas that become weight-bearing over time. So I've definitely got that going on. This isn't the worst one you'll ever see. This is probably only about a 4 out of 10. And I seem to be able to control any pain or swelling in my own joint with some natural mobilization of the big toe. So I'm going to show you what it is that I do to keep mine from getting worse. Now, first of all, good question. A lot of you cynics out there might say, oh, there's no evidence to prove this prevents anything. Good point. There isn't any evidence in particular, but lack of evidence does not mean a proof that it doesn't work. So the way I see it is I'm much better off doing something proactive, and for now it's keeping my toe comfortable and it doesn't appear to be getting any worse. And certainly in the last decade it did, but I haven't noticed the degree or the angling changing, and that's something you could probably measure on your own. So the first thing I do, let's see, try to position this the right way so you can see it. I just warm up my toe. I get it moving. Now, before you start asking, can you do any damage? Probably not. If you're able to move it this much, you're not likely to damage it.